Hey guys, it's Tomotoda, and today, while you watch me make this lunchbox cake inspired keycap, I'm going to share with you guys some tips that I picked up during my experimentations with polymer clay and keycaps. Just a disclaimer, I am not a professional at keycap making. I'm still pretty noob and just doing this for fun, but I've established a good routine that works for me, so maybe it might work for you too, and I just want to share that. Thanks to my friend Denise who sent me these. Go check out her Instagram and amazing keycaps, by the way. I previously made an Animal Crossing themed keycap set if you want to check those videos out. And I still have 4 more keycaps to play around with, and I did 4 different projects with each of them. So get ready for a month of keycap videos. Let's begin. So this part is optional, but sometimes I like to stick my projects onto a movable base because it helps me to maneuver things better. Then I clean the surface of the cap with acetone on a cotton pad to remove any grease or oils that came from my fingers. Taking a very thin sheet of polymer clay, I wrap it around the keycap. This blue sheet was pulled through my pasta machine on setting number 7, which means nothing to you because different pasta machines have different settings. Mine is an Atlas motor, by the way, and basically I pulled it through as thin as I could without the clay constantly ripping apart while it came out of the machine. Anything above a 7 makes my clay look like it's been pulled through an uneven shredder, or it comes out very wrinkly. I know you can pull at the bottom to make it smoother, but I just prefer to keep it at number 7. When wrapping the sheet around the keycap, I try to make sure that there is no air trapped underneath. But that seems kind of impossible, so just try your best. The clay that I use is Fimo Professional, and from my personal experience, after baking, if I have any air bubbles trapped underneath, Fimo tends to make a lump that contains the air inside, while Primo clay from Sculpey tends to crack and releases the air. So, before moving on to any other details, I like to bake the bottom layer first so that I can sort out and sand off any of the air bubble issues with my Melody Susie nail drill, because sandpaper hurts my arms. Then, I clean and smooth out the rough surface using acetone on a cotton swab. Unfortunately, I forgot here that my goal was to make a cake, so I needed the upper portion to be a bit chunkier while the bottom half stayed the same thin layer. So I'm gonna add and blend in more clay at the top. And because the keycap is baked, it might make adding details a little bit more difficult since the surface isn't as sticky as raw clay. In that case, I like to add some liquid clay to just help the details stick better. Now, I've gotten a lot of questions whether it's okay to bake plastic keycaps in the oven. So let me explain. There are actually certain keycaps called PBT keycaps that can withstand higher temperatures. The ones that I'm using right now that Denise sent me are PBT keycaps, and online it says that they can withstand temperatures of 225 degrees Fahrenheit. Although I bake my clay between 250 to 275 degrees Fahrenheit, I haven't had any issues of them melting, but I don't bake my caps for a long time at once. I bake them 5 minutes in between details because, sometimes you work on a little details and when you work on another portion, it gets ruined. So I bake it just so when I work on the next portion that I don't ruin it. Anyways, I bake it 5 minutes whenever I do that. And then at the final end, I bake it for 15 minutes. Also, I want to bring attention that there might be people who actually sell fake PBT keycaps because I know another crafter who told me that she bought it because it was PBT, but when she baked it, it melted. So we kind of think that some are just mislabeling them or they're just purposely scamming. Not scamming, but like You know what I mean? Like, there might be fake PBT keycaps out there, so make sure you get it from a reputable seller. If I ever need some cleaning up, I like to use acetone on a cotton swab or a cotton pad. Now, everything here is completely baked and finished. And as sturdy as good polymer clay is, keycaps are going to be constantly touched, so the paranoid side of me will always add some kind of sealant or gloss. If the details are more fragile, or if I want my keycaps to be glossy, I'll use UV resin, about 3 thin coats total. But if the details are not as fragile and I want my keycap to stay matted, I like to use this polyurethane matte varnish. The first thin layer will be applied using a brush, and then the second and third thin layers will be applied using a sponge. Make sure that every layer is completely dried before you add on another one. And here it is, fully dried. Lunchbox keycap is done. So this time, I borrowed my husband's coworker's mechanical keyboard to test it out, and ta-da! Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope this helped, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye!